Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Chris coming at you with another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast. And this is episode number 73, where we talk about business and personal development all in one podcast. All right, so if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, we drop a new episode every single Monday of the week. So feel free to subscribe and tune in. And if you guys can do me a huge favor, there's going to be a lot of gems and a lot of wisdom dropped on this episode. If you can do me a huge favor and refer this podcast to just one other person, one other family member, one other friend that you may know, and let them know about the Beautiful Struggle podcast, I would truly appreciate it and it would mean the world to me. With all that out the way, we got another guest on the podcast. We got a very intelligent young dude on the podcast. When it comes to business, he has a very interesting insight about business. And you guys definitely want to tune into this one and listen and to see what he has to say. A little bit about my guest. He is a U.S. Air Force veteran. He's the owner of a logistic company, and he's also an investor. With that being said, welcome my man Julius, everybody.
What's going on, y'all?
Cool. How you doing, bro? How's your day going?
Oh, it's going pretty good, man. I can't complain. What about you?
Blessed. Super blessed. How's 2021 been going for you?
Really the same as 2020. Like the same as
Okay.
2020. But I won't say that it was bad for me. 2020 wasn't bad for me.
Okay. Because I was gonna say,
That's,
has it been the good 2020 or the bad 2020?
it was a pretty good 2020. I mean,
Okay.
I was looking at it in a different aspect probably too, though, because I was looking at like I'm spending time with my family,
Mm,
like stuff like that. I wasn't looking at it in I gotta stay
negative.
home and stuff like that. I wasn't seeing it like that.
Yeah. Man, I've spoke about this a couple times on the podcast, and obviously 2020 had its ups and downs, and we went through a lot of things that we learned, and it wasn't all peaches and rainbows, but I can honestly say it was a great year for myself as well. Just being locked in, I was at least locked in with my best friend, my wife, so that was pretty dope, and like you said, being around family, that's always good, spending a lot of time with them. And just coming out of 2020 healthy was also a blessing as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely that. Definitely.
absolutely. Cool. Well, that's a blessing to hear, man. So typically on this podcast, we really like to kick it off with your story, and your background, and really where you grew up at.
Okay. So basically, I'm from Alabama. I'm from a town called Alpine, Alabama. So basically, you watched Talladega Nights before?
I've
Like
heard of it. I've never.
Pharaoh? Okay, like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
Talladega Speedway, like I'm like 15 minutes away from there. If anybody has went to
Oh, word.
Talladega Speedway, it's like 15 minutes from there. Um, Pretty much growing up, man, it was just I feel like I was in this threshold between poor and middle class. Like I
Mm.
wasn't too much on middle class, I wasn't too much on poor side. So
Mm-hmm.
I grew up pretty decent. And I was the only child, so I was kind of spoiled, man, which led me
Mm.
to like being bad.
Okay.
Uh, I just to really let's see what I could talk about as far as my upbringing. I mean,
How were you in school?
in school, like I had good grades and everything till I would say till I got to high school, man. I started
Okay.
like venturing off into other
Yeah.
things. I went
You
to
play
a
any sports?
Yeah, I played sports. I played basketball, football, and I played baseball too.
Dope. Dope.
Yeah. So
Dope.
basically, from there, like when I got to high school, I just started from high school. When I got to high school, I moved like my first year, like ninth grade, probably like 2 weeks in, I moved to another high school, which is
Mm.
a city away. And then what just jump started my mindset of like investing in certain things like that was my mom got sick,
Mm.
and I basically lived by myself for 2 years in high school
Wow.
because she got cancer and some other complications happened, so she had to stay in the hospital that long. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just grinding it out. I had a little brother too, so I was taking care of him. So basically, I was an
Wow.
adult before I was an adult. Like,
Yeah.
so that's what made me think like, nah, I don't want to work forever. So I got to find a way to make my money work for me. But I
Mm-hmm.
still didn't know how to invest at that point. I just knew like I didn't want to work forever.
Mm.
So
So you got a taste of that at a really really young age, and you're like, man, this ain't for me.
right, definitely. I
Wow.
was probably like 16, 17 at the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. So, walk us through us. You graduate high school. Do you go to college? What happens after high school? Well, obviously you go to the Air Force, correct?
Right. So my first plan was to go to Jacksonville State. I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna go to college, but then like with all the things that were going on with my mom, I just felt
Right.
like, man, it's best for her to not worry about me, have a steady
Yeah.
paycheck. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just go to the service. I
Get
went
that
to
money.
the Air Force, and then I ended up in California, which we talked about already. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And
Talk
I
to us.
say what?
No, you good. Go ahead.
So I had a good situation with the military already though, because my cousin he was a recruiter, so I didn't have to do the same process as everybody else. I like said I wanted to go and I was gone the next month. It wasn't like the
Mm.
whole waiting game and all of that. So I
Mm.
would say it's good to have somebody in your family that's a recruiter.
And what made you pick the Air Force? Was there a reason why, or you just picked it?
Pretty much. Well, I like literally I didn't want to go to the military at all. The only
Mm-hmm.
reason I went to the military is because my mom was like, just pressuring me. Then
Right.
I had my cousin also pressuring me. So I was like, I'm gonna just go. If I don't like it, shit, I'll just get out. But I'm gonna just go so everybody can have a peace of mind.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, talk to us about your time during the Air Force. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, what are some of the things that you learned? I mean, being in that situation, you're probably making a decent amount of money, but were you in that moment? Were you also like, man, this still ain't it for me? You still want to do something else? Talk about your mindset and going through the Air Force.
So initially, when I went into the military, I was thinking 20 years. Like I was thinking to
Oh
retire.
wow.
Yeah, I was thinking that. But some things happened. I got in trouble while I was in the military. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that made like it click was they took pay, but
Mm,
I still had to make like work the same job. So I was
that's
like, man,
crazy.
I still don't want to be in this situation either. Like, so that's what
Mm-hmm.
made it. Now, at this point, that's what made me start investing for real, like taking action on it.
Did you have any entrepreneurs in your family growing up?
No
Mm,
entrepreneurs, man. Like, no business sense at all. Like,
wow.
it's crazy. Like, no business sense at all.
So you started investing while you were in the military. What was like the first investment you made?
The first investment I made was I got a rental, which is
Mm,
it's in Detroit. So
mm-hmm,
that was my first move.
mm-hmm. And
Other than
talk about that. Did you have like did you have like a mentor teaching you the ropes, or is it just something like you had extra money, you just went to Detroit and invested?
um, I didn't have a mentor. We did a few courses. Me and my fiance, we did a few courses or whatever, and then after that, we just went at it. But one
Wow.
thing that I did learn over that process was I wanted to go Section 8, but I wanted to screen the tenants real well.
Mm,
So that's what saved me in 2020.
mm,
If I was being honest, because Section 8 was still paying, but a lot of tenants were not paying rent.
yeah, yeah.
As that was a big thing. So it was a blessing to go that route with that rental property.
Got you. And so everybody that I've talked to, like they say, when you make your first investment, you invest in that first property, it just changes everything. It changes your mindset. It gives you like some type of liberation that man, I can do this now. Did you get some of that feeling when you first invested into that property?
Oh yeah, it was, man. It was a great feeling on the first to get that first check.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
feeling, man. I would say, yeah. Once you invest, well, with real estate exactly. Once you invest in your first property, man, it's probably you're probably gonna keep going because you
right,
see like the potential.
exactly.
You know.
That's dope. Did you have any early struggles? You know, as you're going through your real estate, as you're in the real estate industry, did you have any early struggles? Something that maybe held you back and you eventually got over?
Um, Not knowing how to do creative financing. That was probably
Okay.
the this point because like I had the resources, but I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
anybody to ask either.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't go to YouTube and don't know exactly what I'm
Right.
trying to do.
Exactly.
So that's basically that was my biggest thing, creative finance and trying to get the next one.
So talk about creative financing because I've heard of that a whole lot. That's not something I've done a whole lot of education on, but can you explain it a little bit more to the people out there? What creative financing is?
Creative finances is like just say if you don't have the cash, but you have credit. Just say if you have some credit cards that just say if you have two $20,000 credit cards, you could probably
Mm-hmm.
buy the crib with the 20 and rehab whatever needs to be rehab with the other 20. And then at some point you could refinance out of that, but that would be a way of creative financing.
Mm, I got you. Okay. And is that how you got your first property, or did you use the VA loan?
No, so first property, what we did is we just saved, honestly, just
Mm,
saved up until we could pay the down payment. Down payment was single family, so it was 15%. We paid the 15% and we just went that route. We didn't do creative financing with that.
mm. Interesting. So talk to me about your transition out of the Air Force into the full time entrepreneurship. Talk about that transition, and yeah.
Um so basically when I came out of the military, it was a bit scary. I won't even lie, it was a bit scary
Yeah.
because I didn't know exactly like I guess it was lack of confidence, but now I have the confidence. But at that time, I was like scared because I was like, man, how am I gonna keep going?
Right.
But it happened, so I'm blessed, bro. I can't. That's all I can say. I'm blessed. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. So I guess we can start diving into your journey as an entrepreneur. On the phone when we were talking, you mentioned it's crazy how far you can come within 1 year. Um, what were some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from 1 year from today, last year? What are some of some of the big lessons you've learned?
Um, the biggest lesson I would say I learned is don't follow the crowd. Do what's working for you. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
start following the crowd, that's when you start messing up and just taking a lot of L's at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say whatever's working for you, make a lot of money in that, and then try to venture off into other stuff.
Mm,
Don't try to be everywhere at once.
yeah. Yeah, so when you say don't follow the crowd, you saying like for instance, right now the hot topic is the stock market.
Mhm.
Everybody's trying to jump into the stock market and don't know what they're doing, resulting in them possibly losing money.
Right.
Instead, you saying just stay in your lane, perfect that or get that going and then jump into something else, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Got you.
I definitely don't jump in the stock market if you don't know what you're doing.
Right, right. Are you into investing in stocks?
I'm still learning. Like
You
I'm
still
taking
learning?
like what my plan is to take 6 months and learn as much as I can
Mm,
and then start. Like I've been a bit behind the curve on stocks.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that approach is a very smart approach because just like I was saying, with everything coming out in the news, people are making crazy amount of money. A lot of people have FOMO, the fear of missing out. So
Oh
again,
yeah,
they jump into it and they don't know what they're doing. But I love how you're taking a step back and you're saying, let me learn this for 6 months and then let me jump into this. And I'm sure you have plenty of people around you that are doing it at a high level, right?
right, right. Yeah, every day. I'm seeing it. Like so,
Yeah.
I like it's easy to jump into it if you don't
Mhm.
have that type of mindset and that discipline. Because I'm
Mhm.
seeing people on Twitter, Instagram
Yeah.
making $1 million in a day. Like, of course, it's gonna make you want to be like, dang, I need to be in this too.
Right.
So,
Right.
but you gotta have a discipline.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, in the stock market, well, really in anything, especially in the stock market, you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot more money just as quick, you know?
Right. It's fast. It's way too fast to not know the knowledge.
Yeah. So what do you think? I know you're not entirely into the stock market right now, but what do you think about everything that's going on with Robinhood and that whole fiasco right now? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I mean, I think it's messed up, but I just feel
Yeah.
like, hey, it's just pulling the veil off. That's what I
Yeah.
think it is, just pulling the veil off. Like this has
Yeah.
already been a thing. These people are already been this way. It's just something happened now we see. I would rather
Mm-hmm.
see it than not see it. Cause
Right. Right.
yeah.
I feel that. Um, okay, cool. So you're really your main source to investing comes from real estate properties, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. So after that first deal that you guys jumped into, what was the next deal? Did you guys double back and go into another deal the very next month, or did it take some time? What was that process looking like?
So we got the first property. And then I would say, man, we went about like 6 months without getting another one. Cause
Mm-hmm.
we didn't like it's basically like we jumped in on like we got to do something. And then at
Yeah.
that point we didn't know what our next step was gonna be. So we had to go back
God,
to the drawing board, study, learn new things, and then we did the creative financing way.
got you, got you. Cool. So, you jumping into real estate. Talk to me about the logistic company that you guys started up or you started up. Tell me a little bit more about what you guys do and what made you jump into this industry.
So I guess I would say is the fear of missing out.
Mm,
That's why I didn't have discipline. I seen the trucking industry. I seen it was like going crazy. So I was like, man, I
mm-hmm.
need to get in. I bought a course. I think his name is Good Energy or something like
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
his name is Alex Good Energy.
yeah. So I
I've heard
bought
of
his
him. Yeah.
course. But what I did do, I wanted to keep the overhead low, so I didn't buy it for like for me to have a truck. I bought it for the dispatching.
Mm,
Basically, that's dispatching trucks. I didn't want to have my own truck right away.
mm-hmm. So tell me how that works, because I'm not too familiar with the logistic industry.
So just say if you have a owner operator, so basically they'll let you book their loads. So the only thing they'll have to worry about is just driving to the location. So basically, you just take that off their plate, and you may get paid 350 a week.
Mm,
So if
okay.
you have like 7 trucks doing 350 a week, like hey, you could actually see some good money.
Okay, so for the people that let's just say they want to get into that, what would be some practical steps that you would advise for people to get into this industry? And what are
With a
what is? Go ahead.
with a truck or without a truck.
We'll say without the truck, the way you're doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Man, just have some money. Have some
Okay,
money because it's gonna take money.
okay.
'Cause I spent a lot of money on ads, like
Mm,
crazy amount to the point where I was gonna stop. So, um, just save up some money, man, and know that you're investing because a
mm-hmm.
lot of people when they see that money start going down, it changed the whole mindset.
Mm,
And then I had to get out of like the hustle mindset, like thinking like I was gonna make $1 quick.
mm.
So think of it as a business. Don't think of it as a hustle at all. But
Wow.
the biggest thing is the money. How money, of course, the education too. Invest in yourself first. Invest in
Mm-hmm.
yourself first. Because I think
What kind? Go
say
ahead.
what?
My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
No, I was saying, what type of ads were you guys running? Like billboard ads or like Instagram ads?
Just
Or
like
ads in like,
LinkedIn stuff like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, like just
Okay.
because you got the employer side that you can put your ad on.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was doing. I was doing that, Craigslist, LinkedIn, and it was I can't think of the other one right now, but Indeed.
Indeed. Yeah.
So I was running those ads.
Yet I can only imagine when you're running those type of ads, it's not like you're running an ad for like a T-shirt where the cost of entry is a lot lower. It's only like $20. For something like this, it's going to be a lot more.
I was doing like 250 a day. Like
Mm.
so it was crazy. Like it was
Yeah,
crazy.
second. I feel it. I feel it. Um, Dope. So you got the logistic companies, and then you also was telling me that you guys got the Amazon automation business as well. Do you want to talk to us a little bit more about that?
Um, See, I'm kind of hands off on that
Yeah,
situation, so I can't really give too much information. But what it all came back to is having money,
yeah.
like
So
having
uh,
money.
so base so basically, what you're doing is you had a lump sum of money, and you invested in an Amazon store that other people kind of run and handle, correct?
Right,
And you're just the investor, right?
right. And they take
Dope.
a percentage.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's dope. And how's that working out? Is that doing well?
Oh yeah, it's doing well, man. It's doing very well. Like
Gotcha.
I can't complain. It's free. I wouldn't say it's free money, but it's I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you? So you said you're pretty hands off. Are you aware of like what products? Like how
Oh yeah,
involved
yeah,
did
yeah.
you?
I can check
Okay.
everything. I can check everything, but I don't do any research as far as that. Like I just let them do that part, and I pretty much just distribute the money. Like
Yeah.
because the way that it works is
Yeah. Talk about it.
yeah, I would say I might as well go all into it. The way that
Yeah.
it
Do it.
works, Amazon pays out every 2 weeks.
Mm.
So when you're doing this, you have to be able to foot those products.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have good credit. You have to have high balance credit cards. If you really want
Mm.
the store to just pop, you got to have high value credit cards. So just say if you have 220, like I'm gonna use the 220,000 credit
Mm-hmm.
cards again. If you have two of those, that's 40. In a whole month, you could spend 80 because it
Mm-hmm.
pays out every 2 weeks. So you be able to pay them down to zero and use it again. So that's
Mm.
a store that's doing 80,000 and you make between 15 to 25%.
Mm.
So that's basically what you would be taking home.
Got you. You mentioned a couple times about credit. You know, I think a lot of people, it's something that people want to jump into. Do you have any advice on how can people even get that type of line of credit for them to jump into a logistic company, or even jump into real estate, or even an Amazon automation store? Do you have advice on how people can possibly get those types of line of credit?
Um, I wouldn't say that I'm that knowledgeable on that
Yeah.
portion of it, but what I've seen as my money went up, the credit line went up.
Mm.
So, and as I'm using it, so you got to use the credit cards too. Like you can't just let it sit because you asking for increases.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't Chase. I would go through Chase because that's
Okay.
where people are getting a high card. Some people get it through Bank of America too, but I mainly get it through Chase. So
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of people out there that are experts in this industry. It's funny because I was just talking to my wife about the. Have you heard of him 500?
yeah, yeah. I've been watching him a lot.
Okay, he's been doing his thing, so he's definitely a credit expert, but he teaches you on not only how to get large lines of credit, but like how to start businesses with it, and that's another way people can jump into business. A lot of people think that, hey, I need a ton of money. Well, if you have good credit and you can open up a couple large line of credit, you can go ahead and start a couple businesses.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Credit can save you. Credit can save your
Oh,
life. Like
it,
honestly.
yeah, no, for sure. It can help out a lot of people, and it's there's so many different loopholes that people definitely want to educate yourself about. But just know that credit is definitely a way to get into real estate, and it's a way to he just explained it right now how to get into Amazon automation. It's pretty straightforward. Not using it to consume, but using it as a way to make money.
Right. And actually you can use it to consume too. So just say
Yeah,
the
talk about
cash
it.
back. So
Yeah.
just say if your store, I don't know, I guess 1%, I don't know how much it's gonna do, but we'll just say over the year, just say if you did 300,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will have, I think 1% of that would be what, 3 bands, 3,000.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
3,000, you have 3,000. This is how I got the Cartiers. Like
Yeah.
it's still consuming, but it's free money.
Yeah, that's not smart. So you saying so what you did, the 3,001% cash back, they'll give you that, or some places will give you, because I know him 500, he's always like, some cards will give you gift cards to like Nordstrom Rack, or not Nordstrom Rack, Nordstrom, and you can
Right.
go and get you like Gucci outfit if you're into those type of things, and you can buy things with it, and
Oh
it
yeah, I'm into the
you know what
drip.
I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, all that. So that's dope. Um, Man, I see. I was scrolling through your Instagram account, man, and I seen a lot of different posts of Nipsey Hussle. I see that you're a big fan of Nipsey Hussle, man. Um, I am too. So I'm curious to know, talk about some of the impacts that he's had on your life. Maybe some of the messages that he's left behind and kind of impacted your life.
um, so with Nipsey Hussle, it wasn't all about the music. It was more so of the structure. Like I liked it the
Yeah,
way he structured everything. So
yeah,
pretty much just watching, videos,
yeah.
YouTube, whatever you can find to see what he's into. But yeah, that's what really stuck with me, just having structure and then basically making it look easy. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much what stuck with me. But of course the music is fire too though.
Yeah, the music, and then for me, cause I'm out here in the West Coast, so like Nipsey is everything to the people out here. Nipsey and
Right.
Kobe,
Yeah,
you
right.
feel me? So um, with me, I just love how he was always so authentic. He wasn't afraid to be who he was. A lot of people, when they get to the next level, or they get in the industry, or even when they get into business, they feel like they gotta put a mask on and be somebody else to fit in. And I love how no matter where he was at, he was just who he was. Just this is what you gonna get. So I definitely love that about him for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the things I took from it too. Because at first, when I first started investing, I wanted to wear suits. I wanted to do
Hmm.
the whole nine as far as
Yeah,
that. But I was like, man, forget that. I'm gonna just
yeah,
wear what I wear, and just
yeah.
of course I'm gonna be professional, but at the same time, I want to be comfortable. Like I don't want to be
Hmm.
like uncomfortable at all times.
Yeah, you want to be who you are. That's how I feel about the
Right.
podcast. Like, I tell people, man, I just keep it the conversation, just keep it chill, man, and just I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. So that's
Right.
super dope. Also seen on your IG, man, you mentioned you had tweeted like a post, and it says enjoying the process. It talks about enjoying the process and enjoying the highs and low. You want to talk a little bit more about that and what you mean by that? I think that's super powerful. That when you get into entrepreneurship or whatever you're getting into, is to really enjoy the process and enjoy the roller coaster ride that it's going to be.
Yeah, so I could just refer back to like my real estate experience. Like how I said, it took 6 months to get another rental, but
Hmm.
our mindset wasn't like, oh, it's taking 6 months. We were more so on like, hey, let's study real quick and find out
Yeah,
exactly what we can do. Let's get to 10, let's get to 20.
yeah.
Like that's how we were thinking. So
Hmm.
over time, like if you think about the worst thing, it's always gonna be the worst. Like you
Mm.
gotta think positive. And that time, like the whole 6 months, you could have been like in the worst mind state ever, but we wasn't, and
Mm.
it went by so fast. We didn't even think about those 6 months.
Right,
Like
right.
that's over. We got the property. Like,
No, I feel that. I mean, that's what, not to keep harping on 2020, that's what I was telling a lot of people. I'm like, man, if you think 2020 is going to be a terrible year, or it's been a terrible year, then that's what it's going to be for you. But if you step out and say, no, this is, despite whatever happens, despite whoever's passing away, this is going to be a phenomenal year, and I'm going to grow more than I've ever grown, then that's what it's going to be for you.
all right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I seen a lot of people like just shit, like me too. Like I'll be transparent. I was there at one point. Like I was like following on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing everybody post sad things, and then I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
picture myself like, dang man, the pandemic. Then I thought about it. I'm like, bro, you're living pretty much the best life that
Yeah.
you lived in your whole, you know what I mean? Like in whole life.
Yeah.
This is the best part of it. So why are you sad?
Yeah.
But I don't want to disrespect the people that are going through things, because it's
Going
a
through
lot of
some.
people that was going through things.
Yeah, I feel that 100%. But yeah, I just had to bring up that post because I love that, enjoying the process, man, enjoying the highs and lows. Because as you know, as entrepreneurs, it can be great, it can be wonderful, and then the very next day it can be like, man, what am I doing? You know. So, but that's the reason why we do it is for the freedom, the flexibility, and the potential lifestyle that we can have. That's why we have it. And honestly, I enjoy this the whole process of whatever I'm doing, especially for the podcast, where there's some times where some episodes get a lot of views and some episodes don't get very many views at all. But at the end of the day, I enjoy what I do, so it allows me to keep it going and keep it rolling.
Right, right.
Cool, cool. Man, we can start wrapping this thing up, man. I think one of the last few things I wanted to ask you about is you mentioned even before we went live, we started recording. You mentioned you were studying, and throughout the podcast, you were mentioning like education and studying as well. What are some things that are, I should say, are you big on podcasts that you listen to? Are you big on any books? Like what are you using to help you develop into a better businessman?
Uh, I read. What I don't want to say I read. I listen to audiobooks. I listen to a
Got you.
lot of audiobooks, man. I listen to podcasts. Of course, listen to Millionaire Mindsets. Like we talked about
Got you.
that already. Shout out.
Shout out to Xavier.
Yeah. Um, Other than that, like man, podcasts, audiobooks,
Yeah.
courses. I still take courses. That's another thing, man. Never stop investing in yourself. Like
Yeah.
keep
Yeah. I
doing
love
that.
that.
So yeah, I do courses right now. I'm studying for my Net Plus certification. Like I just honestly with courses, I just take stuff that I know that I'm into. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
into tech, so I was like, man, let me get some certifications in that. Um, Insurance adjuster, I'm getting
Mm.
that too. So and plus I'm going to school full time too. So it's like, man, pretty busy schedule, but I make it
Oh,
happen.
I didn't even know that, man. What school you going to?
Golden Gate, Golden Gate
Uh,
University.
okay, dope, dope. That's what's
In San
up. And what are you going
Francisco.
for? Yeah, yeah, for sure. What are you going for?
It's IT, but it's a
Got you.
business degree, but it's concentrated on IT.
Okay, dope. So how are you balancing, business and going to school? I mean, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. How is that
Right
balanced?
now, man, with school, man, I try to knock it out all in one day.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's pretty much how. So it'd be like it's overwhelming at times.
yeah,
I won't even lie, it's overwhelming, but I try to knock it all out at one day, and then the
yeah.
rest of the week just focus on the business stuff and the courses that I'm
Wow,
taking.
wow, that's crazy. Man, because when you said studying and courses, I'm thinking like how you go on IG and some of these influencers they have courses. I'm thinking you were buying those courses, but you talking real school courses.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
like this. I mean, I got those type of courses too, like the insurance
Mm-hmm.
adjuster. I mean, I guess it's one of those type of courses, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most
And
of
how many more years you got until you graduate?
them. I graduate next year. Next year sometime. I can't remember
All right,
exactly the
all
month.
right.
But it's sometime next year.
Got you. And how old are you?
25. 25.
Man, killing it. You got multiple businesses and you going to school about to graduate. Man, you killing it for sure. That's what's up, man. But yeah, like I said, we can start wrapping this thing up. I always have my guests leave the audience with one last thing. I always have them leave them with a gem, one last gem. It can be business related, school related, life related. It can be anything. But we can end it on that note.
Okay. I know a lot of people are looking, like most people start off looking to what they want to invest in, but I would say if you don't have $100,000 right now, the best thing you could do to get to that point is just focus on discipline, focus on better habits. That's the best thing you could do. Or 10,000 too. Maybe that's too far. So if you don't have 10,000, just focus on your daily habits. And I promise you will get there. If you start saving and really honing in on what's going on in your life, you'll get there. Especially if you're making the money. Like if you're making the money, you need to be saving. Once you get to 10,000, then you can get a rental. You can get something that's passive. So that's what I think I should end it on. Something like that. Just be disciplined.
No, I love that. Boom. I mean, that was it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's straightforward, man. So I definitely love that. Julius, it's been a pleasure having you on, hearing your story, and you walking us through some of the businesses that you have. Where can people reach out to you? Where can people get a hold of you at?
I'm on IG and Twitter at Julius Debard. But I would have to say it out. It's JuliusDebardla1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on Instagram and Twitter.
Yep. And I'll definitely leave the links to those social media accounts in the description of this podcast. With that being said, guys, if you can do me a huge favor and share this episode with one new person that you know, that would mean the world to me. And man, I appreciate your time once again. On that note, it's your boy Chris, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.